All right, so Joe Rogan did have on a guest, and they ended up talking about some politics. Now, the guy he has on is not very educated on politics and issues, and we'll get into that in a second. And apparently, neither is Joe Rogan, and it's really not that hard to know. Now, there's one side which is like, oh, okay, you're kind of like spreading misinformation when you do that, but also it's like they kind of represent the normal dudes who aren't like political junkies, and so it's important to know the kind of thought process of a normie. It's important to know that kind of a thought process, and hopefully people in the comments can correct them on the bogey stuff that they're saying. You know what I'm saying? So and not too long ago, I think it was like a week and a half ago, somewhere around there, we actually did a video on Bill Burr losing it. He lost his mind over AOC's 70% marginal tax rate, over $10 million. Now, Bill Burr wasn't able to understand that the tax was implied on money over $10 million in 1 year. And so the way he phrased it was like, oh, this is 70% tax rate after you make your first $10 million. No, dog, not like you make 10. Maybe that's why he was so pissed about it, because his net worth is 8 million. So he's coming up on that 10. He's coming up on making his first 10 million, right? Or maybe he probably has actually, but just, he's had expenses, obviously. But anyways, so that's the way he phrased it. The way these people phrase it makes it clear they don't know what the hell they're talking about. But this is the problem when you start to get into rich people who claim to be liberals. We're going to look at this guy, Joe Rogan, here. It's going to be very interesting. But before we do that, I do want to give a shout out to a couple of new patrons. You can support the show at patreon.com/theprogressivevoice. I want to give a shout out to Crutch22, Cutler Fisher, and Fadi Antoon for all becoming patrons at patreon.com/theprogressivevoice. If you'd like to support the show, make sure to go. The link is down below in the description box. And with that said, we are going to jump into the clip. Check it out.
You got to start from a place. Put it like this. I don't know if you heard of this Green Deal where they want to take 70% of anyone that makes over $10 million, 70% of their income.
That's hilarious.
That's hilarious.
Good luck,
it's the dumbest thing ever.
That's AOC, right? Is that her idea?
It's the dumbest thing ever, right?
I wasn't calling her.
I like her.
I was saying good luck expression.
Yes.
I like her too.
I like her. But
I don't agree with her with that, but I like her.
But what I'm saying is my friend was like, oh, if the Democrats win, that's going to get passed because we hate rich people. And I go, that's the problem. We're starting at hate. The reason why you think it's going to pass is because you think people hate rich people. See, and that's the thing. You got to have a conversation.
That's not going to fix it. Here's the thing. First of all, you've got incompetent use of funds.
Where does the money go?
Exactly.
All our tax. Where does it go?
This idea that if you tax the rich, that all of a sudden all the problems will stop existing. That is so silly. You still have incompetent people that are distributing the money. They'll just create more jobs. There'll be more red tape.
And we get more in debt.
Yeah. What we got to do is figure out a real plan for engineering our civilization better. That's what people have to do, and there should be like real discussion from like real experts, biologists, historians, people who really understand psychologists, people who really understand human beings, really understand what's wrong with our society today, and we have an open discussion. But nationally about that.
But that can never happen.
Of course it can.
No. Right now, because of the government, here's the thing.
What do you mean? That can happen. It's just we have to look at it in terms of
it's just we need to get to a better place.
Yeah, we're getting to a better place. But I think it's a long, slow process. I think we are there's people that say, hey, to minimize the suffering that people feel right now is unjust, and for you to say that is outrageous, and it's just a hallmark of your delusional perspective. That's not true. This is not denying the awful things of the world. The awful things of the world exist. But if you tried to look at this as a mathematical equation, if you looked above, you would say, well, there's a lot of problems here. There's a lot of competing factors. There's environmental factors. Like, what are they doing to the world? Mm-hmm. What are they doing to the ocean? What are they doing to the air? Oh, Jesus, everything's warming up. And people are fighting over what's causing it. Like, they're not even paying attention. This is madness. But look how much knowledge there is. Look how much discussion there is. Movements are moving and growing, and people are, even when they're misinformed, it's still, there's activity. There's all this stuff going on. Even when, someone says, hey, we're going to tax everybody that makes more than $10 million, 70%, like, bitch, you ain't taxing shit. Stop. Yeah. Just stop. Yeah. Stop. Just because someone works really hard, you can't take all of it. Look, stop people from stealing money. Stop people from, but if people say, well, we want equality of outcome. Okay. As soon as we get equality of effort, talk to me.
Yes.
As soon as we get, because some people don't hustle. They just don't. And I don't know why. Maybe it's the way they were raised. Maybe they have poor nutrition. Maybe they have hookworm. I don't know what the fuck it is. But don't say that everybody's supposed to hit the right spot. And everyone's going to get to this spot. And then after that spot, we're going to divvy up all the money. So nobody ever makes more than $100,000 a year and the world's a better place. But that makes lazy people happy. That some juggernaut like Mark Cuban or one of these billionaire characters is like hustling constantly and gathering up massive resources. Yeah, he's playing the game of Monopoly, but he's playing it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's his option. He can do that. You can't stop people from doing that. What you can stop them is from doing unjust things with that money. And what maybe you can do is like help someone like lean towards a Bill Gates type situation where he does so much good and so much charitable work and helps out.
All right, so as you guys just saw there, like I said, they're not very educated on the issues, unfortunately. It's sad to see, you know what I'm saying? I wish they were. Because it'd be a very large service to the millions of people that watch the Joe Rogan Experience. I don't know the name of the guest, but he doesn't know what he's talking about either. He links the Green New Deal, the GND, with the 70% marginal tax rate. Those two things are entirely separate. The Green New Deal is not a proposal that's tied to a 70% marginal tax rate. They're two entirely solo different things. It's like tying together like a 1% Wall Street speculation tax to free college, and you want a universal healthcare. It doesn't make any sense. Like, one is one thing, and another's a different thing. So already, like, the first thing that comes out of his mouth, wrong. They're not. The 70% marginal tax rate on over 10 million is not part of the Green New Deal. The Green New Deal, by the way, is not even a bill. Well, it's a non-binding resolution. All it does is if it passes, the House is sending a message. That's it. That's all it's doing. It's not even it's a non-binding resolution. It's basically for the House to send out a message saying, oh, we support this or blank, and this is what we want to do. But so again, as the way that it's worded there is the guest says literally, on people who make over 10 million, you're taxed 70%. No matter how much we can continuously say, yo, dog, it's 70% on money made after $10 million. There's no fixing this, dude. How many different ways can you word the fucking thing? It's money made after 10 million. So if you make 11 million, you're not getting taxed 70% on $11 million. You're getting taxed at 70% on $1 million, and then you get taxed at, I think, 38% is the current highest normal tax rate for the other $10 million. So if that's the amount that you're paying, you're not paying a net of 70%. You're paying less than a net of 70%. Because your first 10 milli are taxed at about a 38 or 40, whatever the top rate is, and then the other milli you make is taxed at a 70%. So, again, second thing you say, wrong. That's not true. It's not on money made, not on people making over 10 million a year. And by the way, I did go and check Joe Rogan's net worth. It looks like it's 25 million, so he's not making 10 million a year. And honestly, dude, it's a testament to how difficult it is to make $10 million. Dude, it's amazing how people who make either shit money or make a lot of money, who can't even qualify for the fucking taxes, are like, no, dude, no way. You're going to place a 70% tax rate on people on money made after 10 million in a year. So according to recent IRS data, there's like 16 kids, like roughly 16,000 people, okay, of people who make over $10 million a year. Let's just take a second to think about how insignificant 16,000 people out of over 350 million people make over 10 million a year. Now let's also take a further step back. Think about how difficult it is to make over $10 million a year. I'm supposed to feel sorry for imposing a 70% tax rate on money made after $10 million a year? Do you know how fucking difficult it is to make over $10 million a year? You want a testament to that? Joe Rogan doesn't make $10 million a year. Bill Burr doesn't even have a net worth of $10 million, and he's bitching and moaning like a little fucking pussy, okay? He doesn't even have a net worth of $10 million, and he's whining about it. But these rich people, man, this is the problem with these rich liberals. You know, oh, Joe, I'm almost a socialist Rogan, but I'm not even down with the 70% marginal tax rate on money made after $10 million in a year. That doesn't affect me or virtually anybody. Dude, if you're not getting affected by it, do you have any idea how good of a case that is for the 70% marginal tax rate? If Joe Rogan is not qualifying for it, think about how difficult it is to make over $10 million. Seriously, dude. Come on, guys. And this is the problem I'm saying. So I always mention this, that Joe Rogan, Steven Crowder had said that Joe Rogan, I believe he said this in their argument when they got into that argument on pot. He had said that Joe Rogan would publicly support Bernie Sanders because it was good for his image, but he would trash him in private. 100% believe it, 100% buy it. Totally makes sense because, dude, once you got all that, dude's got a net worth of $25 million. He's got $25 million in net worth. You know how much money that is, dude? He doesn't remember being a normal dude anymore. His pockets are fat. He doesn't want you to touch them pockets. He's trying to keep his money. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to give up his cash. He's a selfish, greedy prick. And to be fair to him, like, at least he works for his money, certainly. Unlike, certain CEOs that don't do shit and just basically make their money off the backs of other people doing the labor that, ends up bringing the money in anyways. But to be fair to Joe Rogan, if there is somebody, and again, this is a testament to why this tax rate is so good. Joe Rogan doesn't even get affected by this because his net worth is $25 million. There's no way he's making $10 million a year. It doesn't make any sense. So that's a testament to how good this, how much you should support this tax rate. Even Joe Rogan is not affected by this. And Joe Rogan, deserves to keep most of his money. You know what I'm saying? So he doesn't get affected by the 70% tax rate. And who knows all the different business tax cuts that he gets or tax deductions that he gets when he files. So, he's got employees. I'm sure he probably pays out healthcare too. He has a couple of employees, so he's got some business tax deductions he can throw in there. And I'm sure that 38% goes down quite a bit. So also, I want to say that he also talks about how, like, the government has enough money. We need more money to fund more things. But also, there's another concept that Joe doesn't seem to be aware of, which is income inequality, social cohesion, and wealth recirculation. So wealth recirculation, you put taxes so that basically the people with a lot of money get taxed, and that money then recirculates into the economy. Because you're giving, wage raises and you're taxing, and then that ends up creating government programs that end up putting out money as well. And that is very healthy for an economy because when you become super rich, you start just, what do you do with the money? You just, stuff it. That's what you do. You just stuff it. Now, you or I are probably more likely to spend that money on something, right? Go out, get food or, buy a computer or whatever the hell. So, rich people aren't really down with doing that. They don't really do that with all that insane amount of money they have. Also, income inequality, it's a serious issue, okay? Serious issue. This isn't about equality of outcomes. Not what this is about. This is a serious issue of income inequality, okay? I don't think that everyone should have the same amount of money. I'm a capitalist. But we can talk about severe excesses without being equality of outcome supporters. So think about this, right? If I told you right now, I said, I think that there should be a cap of wealth of $1 billion. A lot of you guys are going to be like, whoa, you crazy loony lefty or whatever, because I didn't. So a lot of people were like, what? No, it's crazy. Step back and think about how much money that is. You know how many millions are in a billion? 1,000 millions are in a billion. 1,000 millions are in a billion. 1,000 millions are in a billion. So what that means is you could have 850 million before you get to a billion. You could have 650 million before you get to a billion. You could have 995 million before you get to a billion. And you're telling me that's not an excess? How many millions does how many millions is Jeff Bezos worth? So what that means is net worth is if he sold everything, that's how much cash he has. 165,000 millions. That is a massive excess that we need to fix because that's too much. And social cohesion is a very important thing because the commie revolution is going to come.